The K-Jazz Show, Sundays on Kofifi FM 97.2.
Well, this week on the KJS Show, we are thrilled to welcome a phenomenal saxophonist, composer, and band leader whose sound resonates, in fact, across continents. Karl Martin Almqvist is known for his soulful tone, inventive improvisation, and deep collaborative spirit, and has carved out a global presence in jazz music. He's coming to South Africa as part of the Standerbank Joy of Jazz Festival 2025, performing with his powerhouse ensemble, the Ababhemu Quartet, a group rooted in trust, brotherhood, and a bold vision of unity through music. Karl, It's an absolute pleasure to have you join us. Welcome to the KJS Show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Let's go back, to the year 2014. It's the year 2014, and you have an email in your inbox. What convinced you, to say yes to a pianist of whom you've never met? And how did that leap of faith, I guess, change or shape your journey?
Well, that's a very good question. And I got this message. It was actually on Messenger, Facebook, from this South African piano player that I didn't know. But I thought that I had met him because I had been in South Africa a few times before playing. And I met so many wonderful people and musicians. And I thought, I probably met this guy, but I can't remember his name, or, I couldn't connect the name to a face. And I was, thinking about it for 2 seconds. And then I felt, of course, I want to go and do this. So a lot of logistic problems, but finally everything was solved. And we met I think it was in April 2014 in Johannesburg to do the recording. And I remember that I flew in the same morning as we started the recording. So we recorded for a couple of days, and it was just wonderful. And I felt so good that I met that, Nduduzo reached out to me. And of course, I also wondered, because I asked him when we met that, like, we haven't met before, haven't we? And he said, no. We haven't met before. I was sitting checking YouTube, and YouTube suggested, as YouTube do, suggest other videos that you might like. And he heard me in one of those videos, and felt like this sound. I want to play with this guy, which it's very flattering. And he had no idea who I was or where I lived or anything. And then I think he asked some friend, or told them about me, that he had heard this. And they said, oh, that's Karl. You should, reach out to him, and blah, blah. And that's how it all happened.
Incredible.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And when you finally met Nduduzo, Karl, in Joburg for the recording of Listening to the Ground, what was the one thing that struck you the most about that encounter?
I don't know. Maybe I just immediately loved playing with Unduduso and his energy, that he's always so committed to the music and so sincere and so spiritual. It sort of hit like everything for me that I love about music. And I'm so happy that this happened, because it's very, very few, if I don't know anybody else almost, that I've played with that I feel so connected with, actually, as Unduduso. I love making music with him. And of course also Ayanda and Magne, so who's in the band.
You know, the project had a profound impact, Karl, on a younger generation of South African musicians. Why do you think it resonated so deeply?
That's a good question. I think there is something very spiritual about that album. It's very sincere and heartfelt, and I think the music, what do you say? It's like it's just pure music. I think it's not pretending to be something. It's just very honest, and I think that might be something that people recognize when they hear it.
Sunday, you are in the company of Karl Martin Almqvist, who joins us for Our Africa from Sweden this Sunday. And we're talking to him about his upcoming performance at the Joy of Jazz 2025. And since we have him here, we're also reflecting on his journey with the jazz, including, of course, listening to music from his project alongside the ensemble, the Travelers. He calls them the Ababhemu Quartet is the project. Karl, fast forward to today. Tell us about the birth of the Ababhemu Quartet and what it represents for you, beyond the music.
Ever since we did that recording in 2014 for Underduso's album, I've had a strong wish that I could bring like the core quartet of the from the listening to the ground to this part of the world. And I'm not the best organizer in the world, but finally I actually managed to make it happen. So in 2022, we played in a festival in south of Sweden, in the Ystad International Jazz Festival. And at that time, of course, there was a lot of planning, and it was also postponed several times due to the pandemic. But we had sort of agreed on, or it sort of just came out like now it was my band. This thing was my band. It was not something, of course it had its roots in this 2014 recording and also playing afterwards, but this is something new. So I had written like completely new music for the project. And when it happened, as I remember it, everybody arrived in Ystad. I think it was a Friday. We did some rehearsing, because, on the all new stuff. The day after we played the first concert, and the day after that we went to the studio and recorded for 2 days. But basically we were already down the first day. So all of this happened in just a few days when we finally met. And I think that the Ababhemu Quartet for me is really about, as you said before earlier, it's about brotherhood and trust, and about making music over, the boundaries of different parts of the world and all that. And I think it's absolutely amazing that we can have such a strong both friendship and musicianship that works so well, even if we are from, completely different places in the world. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing in many ways.
Absolutely. You've described the quartet as playing against the history of coloniality. Let's unpack that for a moment. How do you translate such a powerful concept into sound?
I think it's it's a hard question for me, but I think it's just about being honest and trust each other. And, we are just meeting up and making music, and we wanted to spread good, something that's very positive in this time when there's so much stuff happening in the world that is not positive. I think this is a true, I think it's a very powerful thing, actually, to meet up and play music and spread try to impact the world with some beauty.
And I also wanted to, tap into, you having performed extensively in South Africa, Karl, what keeps you coming back to the scene? That's interesting.
There's I love being in South Africa. It's I met so many wonderful people and seen so much beauty, but also, of course, a lot of contrasts. But I think it's, for me, I've told, people close to me and just friends talking about South Africa. I don't think I've ever been to a country. Like every time I go there, I feel a bit changed afterwards. That it's a very emotional thing for me to come to South Africa. And now I haven't been there. I think I can't remember last time, maybe 2017 or 18 or something. So it's quite some time ago, and I really, really want to go. I'm longing to come back, and it feels so good to perform with the Ababhemu Quartet.
We are still in conversation with Karl Martin Almqvist for today's edition of the show, and he joins us as we get ready for Johannesburg's favorite jazz festival. That's the Standerbank Joy of Jazz, and of course happens this year from the 26th through to the 28th September. And as we build up the anticipation to the festival, you and I will be spending time with some of the headliners here on the show. And to book yourself a seat, of course, simply head to joyofjazz.co.za and follow the links, of course, which will bring you closer to an incredible 3 days of the best in jazz served by the Standerbank Joy of Jazz. Now, Karl, as you get ready for this incredible festival, what can audiences expect from your set? And what do you hope that they take away?
Oh, that's a hard question, but I think they will experience a very honest and hopefully spiritual set of music. Yeah, basically.
Well, we look forward to all of it.
Me too.
We look forward to all of it. And of course, you bringing the bandstand alive at the Joy of Jazz Festival, of course. And once again, Karl, thank you so much for, joining us this Sunday, as we build up to the incredible September that we look forward to, which is the Joy of Jazz. Of course, we celebrate, the musicians that are going to be on the stage, putting us on the map once again as the city of choice, to be and festival at. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to come again. I'm really, really looking forward to this.
And of course, he is a saxophonist, composer, and bandleader, Karl Martin Almqvist. Of course, he was on the K-Jazz Show.